The State of Crypto is presented by Tron, connecting the world to the power of cryptocurrency.
European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde says that a digital euro is probably about 2 years away. The central bank chief said she wants to address, quote, conspiracy theories about CBDCs and government snooping. Joining us now to discuss is the CEO of digital asset market maker Keyrock, Kevin de Patoul. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you on. So back in July, you wrote a piece that it's time for a euro stablecoin. We'll get to the market about that. But in the meantime, what do you think of Lagarde's comments regarding a CBDC from the ECB?
Well, I think that, compared to your introduction, so indeed she said that it would be, 2 years away until they actually start a trial, and probably another 2 years, after that to have proof of concept before anything comes to fruition. I would tend to believe that it's actually a positive thing, because I do have personally, as a citizen, concern about the concentration of power that would come, with a CBDC and the full traceability that it offers. So of course, Christine Lagarde would label those concerns as conspiracy theories, which I don't think is entirely warranted. So I think taking our time to understand what the implications of a CBDC actually will be, for all market participants it's actually a good thing. So for once, I'm quite happy that Europe is being slow on this.
So, in the meantime, you say that Europe needs to get up with the stablecoin game, if you will.
Yes.
We've seen experiments with the euro stablecoin. Why have they failed?
Well, I think that there were multiple reasons why they failed, right? And so maybe to take a step back on this, I do think that it would be very positive for us to have a digital euro. My question is whether that euro should be emitted by the European Central Bank, which is another matter entirely. The reason why I think euro stablecoins have not been so successful, up until now, I think first it was simply a question of where interest rates, were up until last year, and therefore whether it made sense to issue such a digital euro to start with. I think that the second was also a lack of, a regulatory clarity onto, how would issuers of stablecoin actually be treated in Europe, and whether there would be a common framework for them to work under, which is not the case with MiCA. Of course, we know where the rates have been going as well. So I think that most of the major hurdles that were there have now been lifted, which is why I do think that it's a great timing for Euro stablecoin to emerge and to gain some momentum.
So we saw a lot of issues with a U.S. stablecoin, several U.S. stablecoins in the past. We saw, we discussed earlier with Mark Yuska some of the failures, obviously with Terra Luna, which was, again, it wasn't asset backed. It was theoretic. It was algorithmic. But we've seen other questions about, and let's be honest, let's say that there have been always questions surrounding Tether and its backing, and whether or not they were printing dollars, if you will, or at least using it backed by non-dollar assets, and that dollars never changed hands to create them, which has been an accusation. Of course, they deny it. What kind of protections you don't see the ECB getting involved in, or you don't want the ECB to get involved in trying to protect against that, do you? Or do you think that the ECB would have a role in stablecoin regulation?
No, I think they definitely have a role. What I was, questioning initially is whether Europe should rush into the emission of CBDCs, right? And I think that they shouldn't rush because there are very clear privacy concerns and concerns around concentration of power. But that being said, I think that, it's very good to have multiple different potential issuers of a digital euro. And I do think that very clearly these issuers should be, submitted to a clear regulatory framework. There should be very strict needs around transparency or about the ability to audit, backing, audit the issuance practices, so that the customers, the end user that actually make use of those digital stablecoins can rest assured that what they are actually holding is actually backed, by fiat currency, which is what they actually want to store value in initially. So I think that very clearly those issuers should be subject to oversight and to controls, and I do think that having a clear regulatory framework around it makes complete sense.
So Keyrock, you just received a Swiss regulatory clearance, and according to a statement from your company that came out today. What does it mean for your company? What does it mean for a market maker like yourself? And how does it compare to what you're seeing going on in the U.S.?
So, I mean, we're globally active, right? So today we trade on more than 85 exchanges. We have from the get-go, so we founded the company 6 years ago. From the start, we decided to be fully compliant in all jurisdictions that we're active in. And so receiving this regulatory approval in Switzerland is part of, our continuous effort to broaden our base, to broaden our scope. And so the reason why we've, chosen to make those efforts in Switzerland is because the rules are very clear. The rules here are not, specifically easy. They are not lax. There is very clear controls, very clear frameworks, but at least there is clarity. And I think that, for players such as ourselves, that's extremely important. We're very happy to abide by the strictest of rules, but we also want to know that those rules are not going to change every 6 months, and that, we have a very clear guidance as to what we can and cannot, develop in a specific jurisdiction. So this is what explains our focus on Switzerland, and also explains why we're currently not active in the US, because the clarity is very clearly not there.
And you raised $72 million recently from the likes of Ripple, and so I assume you're spending it on all sorts of things. It's not all going to lawyers, correct?
Definitely not, no.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Kevin, we appreciate having you on. That was Keyrock CEO, Kevin de Patoul. Okay,
thank you very much, Lawrence. Have a nice day.
Thank you.